Hey, what's up everybody? It is time for the roller coaster review coming to you from my home studio. This is my basement. I had a home studio over here right off to the side. If you watch WGN, see me on TV at all, I had a little home studio when I was recording at home. That's all taken down now. And so that's kind of a work in progress. So this is really my couch in our little basement office that we have down here. So we're talking VelociCoaster today. If you don't know, it's the new roller coaster in the Jurassic Park section of Universal Orlando's Islands of Adventure. Much hyped ride, expectations through the roof. I've been following this thing since it was rumored. If you've been watching television, I've been talking about this thing on the air for so long. I've been so excited about it. One, I'm a big Jurassic Park geek. And then you just knew from all the rumors and seeing the construction that they were building something pretty darn special in this space, and to see it all come to fruition was really neat. I wasn't able to be there on the media day, so I don't have any actual footage of me on the ride. They were not able to do that day. My initial plan was to ride the ride. I'm gonna get off the ride, get my phone, and take my initial reaction, and do all of my review right then and there. And something happened when we pulled into the station. I rode it with my wife, and my wife doesn't like a lot of inversions on roller coasters. She doesn't really like going upside down. So I was wondering, I'm like, well, I don't know if she's gonna really like this because there's a ton of inversions toward the end of the ride, different types of inversions and things like that. And we pulled in the station at the end of the ride, and she looked at me and she was like, I could ride that all day. All day, I could ride that, and that was incredible. And I was so thankful to hear that because I was absolutely blown away by the ride. But of course, I love all this stuff. So is the average person going to feel the same way about it? And the answer, and I always use her as the test because she to me is like the average person who loves roller coasters but doesn't like some of the real crazy stuff. It blew her mind, and she wanted to ride this all day. We didn't get the opportunity to do that. We had our kids with us and they can't really ride it. I can't force my kids to just keep waiting in line for mom and dad to ride, the new roller coaster. Not a cool thing to do. So anyway, I was like, when it ended and we stepped off, I'm like, I gotta wait to post either my written reaction or my reaction, because right now I'm feeling that this is the greatest roller coaster I've ever been on. Been on 92 roller coasters, which isn't a huge number if you're an enthusiast. I know a lot of people with 300-400 credits, but to me, I walked off like that. It doesn't get better. It doesn't get any better. Like that is the best. That is the best experience I've had on a roller coaster. So I only rode it one time, so I think it's hard for me to say it's my number one, but gosh darn it, it is a top 3 roller coaster for me, no doubt, if not the number one. So what I'm gonna do now is you're gonna see the POV video that Universal put out. Here we go. All right, so the one thing you'll notice when you watch their POV of the ride is that the video starts right with the launch. Like you're launching out of the station, you're launching out of the launch area. But the one thing they don't show you here in this video is you pull out of the station, and when you go into the launch area, there's this incredible sound design that's happening. There's like a rumble that's going on. I don't know if they've got like subwoofers in there or whatever, but you feel like stuff's happening all around you. Like you're in this pen that's probably surrounded by these raptors that are trying to get in and get you. So there's this buildup that happens before you actually launch out of the station. And so if you've been on launch coasters before, you know what it feels like. You've been on a launch before. And it's almost like the Universal team knew that. So they're like, okay, people who are coming to this, they've been on these before. They've probably been on the Hagrid ride, right? A few steps away. It's a similar type of launch as those. How can we make this different? And putting the extra money into this, just these small touches of being in this cage there, feeling like the world's kind of crashing in around you as you launch out of this, is just an incredible element. I rode it during the day like you see in this video, but I can't imagine what this is like at night. I was not able to ride it at night. It's got to be really awesome being in this thing, hearing the sound, and then blasting out. So you fire out, and the launch is a really solid launch. And what's cool is when you're coming out, you see this rock formation on your left that you kind of curve up over that. So there are all these little, I don't want to call them like near misses, but obstacles along the way this was designed was great. As you're coming down that first little climb there, you're going into these little tunnels with these rock formations over you, and it creates these really great elements. And then when you go into this first inversion, and this is what I want to say about the inversions on this ride. So you're upside down here one time in this first section of the ride. The inversions on the ride, they feel like they're supposed to be there. Does that make sense? I mean, I don't know if that really makes sense or not. I'm trying to figure out how to say this, but the reason I'm talking about this is because my son didn't go on the ride. He was a little too nervous to go on. He's only 8 years old, but he hasn't gone upside down on a ride yet. So he's always counting, like, how many times does that ride go upside down? Do I want to try it or not? So we counted the inversions on this. And the way these inversions are designed, they just feel natural. Like, it feels like the ride was supposed to go upside down right there. Like, if it would have just banked, it wouldn't have been the same. So by like coming up and then going down like that, here, I'll play that again. But you kind of come up and then you curve to the left and you're flipping, but you're like, it doesn't feel like, oh, wow, I'm upside down. It's like, it just feels like, oh, that's a natural transition to go into the next element. It is so well designed and smooth. I think that's one of the reasons that my wife walked off of this thing and she was like, that was great. Because it didn't feel like the ride was trying to make her ill or anything like that. It just felt like, yeah, I'm racing around in an area with a bunch of raptors. And by the way, you're looking left and right and you see a lot of those. You see some of those raptors along the way. And it was kind of neat. It's like, oh yeah, there's one. Oh yeah, there's another one. And so it's thrilling enough in this area, but it's not so crazy and whipping around that you can't admire the stuff around you. So it's still thrilling, but it's not so crazy and whipping around in this area that I can't pay attention to anything that's around me because I'm out of my mind insane here. So it's like the perfect balance between the two things. So you're going through this area and it's a good warm up. And as the ride's going, after a little while, it's like you're getting a little bit of airtime in here. You're twisting and turning. It's like, okay, I can do this. Like, I got this. I've been on rides like this before. And that's when you curve in and you hit the second little cage. I don't know what the term is for this, like corridor, cage area. And this is where the second launch is. And this was the biggest moment for me. I was looking forward to the most because when they were building the ride and all the rumors were out there and the construction photos and the people like the Alicia Stellas of the world, the people who did such a good job, Midway Mayhem, the people who did such a good job like documenting every aspect of this ride as it was being built. This was the section that when they were building this, and it's like, okay, something's going to happen when you come into this area. And there was going to be another launch. I think that was pretty clear. But I thought that the car was going to stop and something was going to happen around you. Either something visual, screen-wise, maybe there'd be like an enclosed building here or something. And I was thinking more along the lines like Hagrid, you know, in Hagrid when you go up and then you go backwards and you go into that show building before the track drops, like stuff happens. So I'm thinking, okay, this is the part where Universal's going to do something that's just going to blow your mind visually or something like that. But then when I started seeing the videos and the car just goes in and launches again, I was disappointed. I was like, wait a second. That's it? Like, you're just going to launch again right there? Like, I feel like something has to happen in that area. So, and I'm gonna tell. So when you actually hit this launch, and you're kind of bouncing around in the other first section, and you hit this, and this launch is longer and stronger than the first one. So then it's like, whoa, whoa! Again, I've been on launches like this before, and it is just perfect. It's the other thing I thought too was when I saw this initially was that there's going to have to be a breather here. And I thought the breathers where something would happen, but you're going to have to give people a little break because if you're doing too much in that area, then you hit another launch, then you hit this crazy top hat, then you go in these crazy elements. I just had a fear that the ride was going to be too intense for too long and build too much and just be wild. And then when you're done, you're like, okay, that was fun, but it was crazy. And I'm glad I did it and I'm going to do it again. But, you know, it's just a little too wild. At least for some people. I could probably ride it all day still. But, you know, that was kind of my initial fear to say. And shockingly, I was wrong, which tends to happen quite a bit. But so what happens is you hit this launch, and the cool thing to me was, I'm asking for the show element, but if you've seen this before, if you've seen these videos online, that actually to the left in there, people who are in the queue get to see you whip by with the other Raptors chasing you. So there is a show element for the people who are waiting in line, which is amazing. That is a really cool thing to do with this, because I'm going to explain, before when I said the ride needs to have some kind of breather, and that's true, but shockingly to me, the breather happens at the top of the top hat, which is crazy to think. Wait a second, I'm going on this big launch, well, however many feet, there was it, 160 something feet in the air, and that's your brake? Yes, it is, because the ride's going so fast and so quick, and by the time you get to this top hat, the way the top hat is designed, it's like, it's arched enough, there's enough space up there where the car hangs. So your coaster train gets to the top. I'm going to back this up a little bit. So the coaster train gets to the top there, and when you're at the top, you have a few seconds. And I found myself like, whoa, like it's like you're taking a breath, even though you're going straight up in the air and you're that high in the air, and you get to see a view of Islands of Adventure you have not seen before. You got the Hogwarts Castle up there, you got Hogsmeade, you got the Jurassic Park Welcome Center, everything that's off to the right. It is just, and I literally did take a breath and look around and was like, this is awesome. Like, this was awesome. And it was the break that I felt was needed right there in the ride. It is just impeccably designed. I think I'm going to say that a million times here. So then you're coming straight down, and you come down off of the top hat. You see all the people that are going to be down there to your left who are cheering you on, taking pictures of you on the ride. And this is where the ride is. This is where everything is memorable. This is where, like, these are the oh wow moments of the ride. Where if you're everywhere from a regular person, I mean, like, you know, a person who just goes to theme parks every once in a while and rides roller coasters, to if you're an amusement park enthusiast, roller coaster enthusiast, you're going to be like, wow, when you get off this thing, because these elements are just incredible. First, you have this upside down stall here, where you come up into an inverted position, you're completely upside down, looking at everything right below you, and then you flip over and do the full 360 inversion there. The stall is awesome. I've been on stalls before. I think this is my favorite one. It's long. You feel like you're really hanging there, but you're moving. And that's the other thing about this ride. It gets faster as it goes. So yeah, you take that pause at the top of the top hat, but as this gets going, then after that, you continue to pick up speed. It's not like, wow, the ride starts real fast and then toward the end, it comes to a slow halt. No, you are accelerating throughout the ride, but it's spaced out enough where you don't feel like everything, all these elements are insane, because there's enough, you'll see right here as I'm playing this, there's space, like a long turn between these inverting elements. So, and these are fun too, like these turns, these outer banked turns to the right. That's a cool thing. It could have just gone to the right, but you feel like you're getting dipped out a little bit. But it's also feeling like you're running away from something, so you're like dodging, you know, like you're dodging everything that's in your way. So then you curving around again, and you get this airtime hill before my favorite moment in the ride. This is my absolute favorite moment in the ride. My favorite element is this crazy 360-degree inversion over the water. Everybody's been talking about it, but it's just, even looking at it, when you're coming into it, it just has a weird shape. It doesn't look like a traditional barrel roll. Like it looks different. Sorry, my computer's beeping. It looks different. And it feels different. It feels different than any barrel roll that I've been on before. And I don't quite know why. I think part of it is the amount of speed you have going into it. How it's right over the water like this too is just really neat. And you feel like you're getting airtime when you're in it. Like, it just felt different to me than any other ride like I've been on. Element like this I've been on a ride. And I'm telling you, to have that at the end, like they knew that was going to be at the end, and you see everyone's face when they come into the station. It's like, what? There's a couple of rides I've seen that on. You see it on Lightning Rod at Dollywood, you see it on Outlaw Run at Silver Dollar City, and you see it on this. Like, it's one of those things where it's the big finish at the end, and everyone is like, what the heck just happened to me on this roller coaster? So it is just, you know, congratulations to everybody there who had a hand in designing this thing. Props to them to continue to, between the Hagrid coaster and then this, to continue to invest in the extra elements, the theming elements, the sound design, the queue elements in these attractions, because it really separates the parks in Florida from the other parks. Like, it is just taking the extra money and the extra step to take it to another level. Everyone on the creative team at Universal Orlando who worked on that, take a bow to the people who designed this, because it is a fun ride, it is a smooth ride, it is a ride you can ride over and over and over again. I saw people of all ages on this thing just having a ball. And the other question I'm getting from a lot of people is the restraints. There are no over-the-shoulder restraints on this. There's just a lap bar. It's this newly designed restraint system that you're seeing on some of these rides, like, as I mentioned before, Steel Vengeance, Outlaw Run, this one now. They have these things where your bottoms of your legs and your waist is secure in it. I felt completely secure. I know some people are like, I won't go on a ride that goes upside down without over the shoulders. Personally, I love this. I feel you feel more free on the ride, and I just loved it. I thought it was great, and it's probably my favorite coaster. I need to ride it a bunch more times, but I'm telling you, it is a winner. And I want to hear from you guys too. If you've been on it, what did you think? Where does it rank for you when it comes to roller coasters? Again, my expectations were so high with this. I was so amped for it. I was waiting to go on and be like, all right, that was cool. Sometimes you get so excited for rides, and when you finally ride them, you're like, all right, that was fun, but what's the next thing? You know, you're just, and my biggest regret is that this isn't in my backyard, that I can't just have an annual pass and just go, I'm gonna ride some VelociCoaster this morning, because this was the other thing. Sorry, I'm talking, this is a long video, but the line never got over an hour-ish when we were there, which is also incredible. The operations team is doing an excellent job getting people in and out of this thing and keeping the trains moving, which was just amazing to me to see that you could get on this in 45 minutes most time during the day. That's awesome for a roller coaster of this magnitude in a park that is as busy as this is, which goes to show you, the more you add attractions like this, the more stuff there is for people to disperse to, and then your wait times go down overall. So just again, congratulations to everybody at Universal Orlando. Really want to hear what you guys think about the ride. You can leave a comment below. You can also find me on Facebook, on Twitter. I'm just at Marcus Leshock. Instagram as well. You can check me out there. And also my website, marcusleshock.com as well. I'll post a post up there about this. You can bookmark that and write about some amusement parks up there as well. So I hope you guys are doing great. Hope your summer's going really well. I hope you get a chance to get out to some of these parks now that everything's reopened, and enjoy yourself. But as you can see, I'm pretty excited about it. I talked for almost, over 20 minutes about this darn thing, so hopefully I didn't bore you guys too much. But it's a really fun coaster, and look forward to hearing what y'all have to say. Bye-bye. See you later.